Okay, let's do a quick mic check. Alrighty. I will be on camera in just a moment. Alrighty. Um, let's see. Okay. Oh, 1 second. My face cam is not working. Hey, chat. You can see my other camera. And we have a furry guest here. Put the camera down a little further. And oh, baby. Yeah, I know, little boy. For anyone who doesn't know, this is Dresden, named after Harry Dresden the Wizard. And from the book series, we have 3 cats and a dog. He's the one who comes on camera the most, though. Yeah, little boy, how you feeling today? Oh, I'm sorry. He wants attention now. Now's when I'm about to start streaming. Can't give him all the attention he wants. That's my camera, little guy. Yeah, can't play with that. No. I have to watch him closely in my room because he likes to get into everything. And some of the things in here, well, A, would cost me money, but B, would be bad for him. I have to be very careful not to let him, get into the paint or play with brushes that are, wet or anything. Okay. The hair, though, I brush him daily and he's still just so much hair comes off of this little guy. The camera is not doing a good job exposing where the light. Oh well. All right. All right. I'm going to put him down now so I can start painting. I'm sorry, little guy. All right. So this painting is in a weird spot right now. Yeah, in a bit of a weird spot where a lot of it is wet or, well, wet might not be the most accurate. A lot of it is tacky, semi-dry, and some of it's completely dry. I guess some of it is probably wet, but yeah, puts it in a weird spot as far as like painting goes. Honestly, not my favorite place for a painting. Usually, if I didn't have a tight deadline and I had a painting at this stage, what I would do is I'd just leave it till it dried, dry to the touch, and then I would keep working on it. but I'm trying to get this done by, I think it's Monday. No, don't exactly have a ton of time. Oh, that is not good. I don't know why it's sliding like that. Well, no, I take that back. I know why. I just don't know why it did it this time and not before. So one of the reasons I'm using this tool is um, it allows me to put thicker paint down. So if some of the paint is a little sticky or whatever, won't matter as much to me. Um, Same as like using a palette knife. However, this has other properties that a palette knife doesn't, and of course, the opposite is true as well. Um, I mean, there's the shape, of course, and the fact how bendy this is. Pretty sure it's made out of silicone, although I'm not positive about that. It's not completely flat, which gives it a little bit of like randomness to the shapes that it makes, which can be a good thing or a bad thing, just kind of depends. Hey, French fries. French fries says 2 streams in a row. What a surprise. Yeah, I said I'd be streaming today. Uh, I'm, I wanted to put a video out today, but when I was going to edit it, I was really struggling because, the painting isn't done and didn't really know what exactly to say. Plus, I needed to get back to painting, so no video. But, you know, I knew I'd have a harder time putting out videos, so I figured maybe I'd make up for it by streaming more. How you doing, by the way? Yeah, I need I haven't been like oh my God, my brain. I need to get this finished as fast as I can. Basically, is where I'm at right now. Doing fine. Got snowed in today. How about you? I'm doing good. Just I had a bunch of things happen today. Not bad, not like for the most part good stuff. Just, a bunch of a bunch of things all happening that took my attention and um just like it just felt like I had a ton of things to juggle all at once, all of a sudden, kind of thing. Like I said, not bad, not bad at all, or anything like that. Just a lot of things, and so I didn't get back into painting uh, as early as I'd wanted to. I was planning on streaming at like 4, but that didn't work out. Um, but yeah, but otherwise good. My YouTube channel today just seems to have like, I mean, to say that it's going crazy is an exaggeration. I guess relatively speaking, maybe. Like, I got a bunch of comments compared to normal. I mean, I know you've left comments before and other people have left comments, which I appreciate because I think it does help with the algorithm and stuff. Um, but suddenly a bunch of people left comments today, and yeah, it's cool. It's nice when it happens. Also got like a bunch more followers all of a sudden, subscribers. Bunch being relative, right? Like YouTube, people blow up like crazy. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like, 20 in like one day or something like that, which is still, it's good. I'm not trying to dismiss it, just relatively speaking. I think I worry that I'll say something and people will think I'm, you know, blowing it out of proportion or something. Yeah, otherwise, what kind of brush is that? It's a silicone brush. I think it's silicone. It might just be rubber. I'll be honest, I don't know what it's made out of. Like I have not tested the material, whether it be silicone or rubber. I don't know. But yeah, that's all it is. It's just like a rubber brush. This is Catalyst by Princeton. They make a variety of brushes like this, different shapes and sizes, and also they have ones without the handle, so they're just like these, you know, flat pieces of like rubber. Um, you can, for the record, use like a homemade, like a baking spatula. I actually bought one for my class and used it. Only problem is I bought, it's a cheap one. It works fine. Only problem is it has these like sprinkles in it for some reason. I don't know if you can see them. Yeah, kind of. You can see the little sprinkles in it. One of them is close to the surface, and when I use it on that side, it like scratches. I don't like it. So don't get ones with sprinkles in it. But yeah, you can get cheaper ones. You don't have to pay the art store prices necessarily. I will say the good thing about these is they last, right? Like, I mean, obviously you can lose them and you can destroy them, but I mean, you know, they don't they don't get ruined the same way that like brushes do. So the background here is definitely challenging because there's so much stuff and there's a ton of it that I literally don't know what I'm looking at. So I'm having to, interpret all of it and try and make it look like something. To a degree, obviously, it's going to be a lot of abstract somethings, but yeah. Yeah, you can buy, I also have these ones. These are by Creative Mark. They're like rubber spatula brushes. They're much sharper, um, which is really good for certain things. This one has a little more roundness to it, and the shape of it's also not flat, completely flat, which gives it, different qualities, of course. So, but yeah. The one I do have one that I bought a couple of years ago that is like a hard plastic, and I have yet to figure out like how to really incorporate that into my art because I do not really like it. It's just like a hard plastic spatula thing. I don't really like it. A friend of mine was like, "That's the good one," and I'm like, "Really? I don't feel like this is a good one." But she likes him, so I would actually give it to her if she was, nearby. One of my cats, Misu. I can hear her outside. She's got the zoomies. She's running around like a crazy cat. I do like the brushes that you hold um, closer to the hand to the brush head. It's really good to hold your brushes further away. It's good practice to do that. But I do really like the ones that let you get, choke up on it and get really, really close to the brush head. The ones that are more like paddle shaped and stuff like that. It's always such a kind of fight to like not tighten up too much on things. Holding the brush at the further end of um, you know, of the stick is one way of helping you from not choking up on it too much. Um, Also, it can help get distance from your painting, and having distance is usually very helpful. So that is a benefit too. It's interesting because I am going to inevitably have some dry brush effects on this painting. Um, Even if I don't intend to, I'm not going to be able to get away from all of them. It's impossible because part of the painting is dry, part of it's not. I can't oil out. Um, so it's gonna happen. Trying to bring the value down a bit here. I didn't go as dark as I should have in the beginning here, so I need to bring it down a bit. Then I'll have to bring some of the lights back out, but it's part of the process. A lot of back and forth. Also, in this painting, um, because it's a more complicated painting with more like things happening, um, there's a lot of things that are like behind and in front of each other. There's a lot of objects that are like, you know, in front of it, other objects and so on. And some of those are harder, like it's hard to paint up to the edge on everything. So instead of painting up to the edge, what I do is I'm painting there are some things I'm painting as if whatever is in front of it isn't there. And then I'm going to have to go over whatever it is and bring whatever is in front of it and paint it on top. Um, which is fine. It's just, I don't know if it's more work. It's just a way of working, I would say. The reason I would say I don't know that it's more work is because trying to like paint right up to the edge of things is also difficult and can be time consuming too. There's a chance I might stream tomorrow too, by the way. I'm not going to guarantee it because sometimes I work faster when I'm not streaming. But yeah, there's a chance I'll stream tomorrow as well. Can't believe I have to put out more blue already. This painting and this last painting, the one before this, I've gone through more blue than I normally do in like, I think a couple months at a time. It's crazy. Usually, teeniest amount of phthalo lasts me a couple paintings, but yeah. This painting's a little bit larger. Last painting was all phthalo, so yeah. There is a Dresden here. I'm gonna find it. There it is. I cannot get it though. Hey Heather, how you doing? I'm trying to get one of Dresden's hairs out of my paint. Can't tell. They're like these tiny little transparent hairs. It's annoying. Top of the head? My head? Yeah, I'm doing okay. Yeah, unfortunately, sometimes I have to get closer to the canvas, and yeah, all you get to see is the top of my head, I'm sure. But yeah, I'm doing all right. If I didn't answer, forgot if I answered or not. But yeah, doing all right. I meant to be streaming earlier, but sometimes things just kind of get in the way and so on. Yeah, so I feel like I'm not as chatty as I should be or something, but I'm just, you know, I'm happy to talk, but sometimes my brain just isn't like, what's it called? Initiating the talk? So, yeah, I don't know. I'm focused on the painting today. Um, and yeah, I don't know. This is also like, there's just so much detail that I'm trying to, you know, figure out in this painting. I do find personally, I find like this type of stuff to paint, like the all the detail and random stuff. I do sometimes find it a little overwhelming. I know some people really enjoy that, and like they're like, oh, I can just go in there and do all this detail. Personally, I tend to find it more overwhelming than like meditative or something. So I realized the black I put down here was too strong, and I didn't want this corner to have like the darkest dark on it, so I pulled it back a little. Just by mixing in some white. That's really all it needed. It was nice. I don't know what happened, but I had a bunch of people uh, comment on my YouTube videos, like on the last one, and not like a huge amount, just more than what I would say is normal. So that was a cool thing to wake up to today. I don't know what happened, but yeah. I know you leave comments a lot, Heather. I do appreciate it. I'm just saying, in addition, like it's more than the norm. And, that means that it's, more people are seeing it and so on. That's good. Heather says, I'm not enough for you. I know how it is. Sobs sullenly. Yeah. Sobs sniffle. Yeah. Well, you know how it is. Hi, Misu. Misu has a bit of the zoomies right now. Hey, Poison Jackal is raiding with a party of 4. Welcome, raiders. For anyone who's confused what's going on, that's on Twitch. Raid party is a Twitch thing. So uh, another streamer brought their viewers over. So that's cool. Welcome. Hey, Poison Jackal. Poison Jackal. I always want to say Poison Jack for some reason. Poison Jackal. How you doing? Poison Jackal is an art streamer on Twitch. Does some really fun stuff. I don't remember if you do all digital or not, I'll be honest. I remember, what was it, the watercolor whale? I remember. But yeah, Poison Jackal says I'm pretty flexible with my name. You can say whatever you like. I try and get it right. I'll get it wrong, but I try, you know. An attempt is made. Well, that's what I'll do. I'll often fail, but yeah. Mostly traditional, yeah, but I have dabbled in digital. Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. I remember the watercolor piece, I think, unless I'm getting it confused, unless I'm getting completely confused, but yeah. Nah, you nailed it. That's what okay, thought so. I have a bad memory for names, but pretty decent visual memory. Can't imagine why. But yeah, what were you up to today? And if you want to share anything, you're welcome to share as well. Sometimes I look back at my paint, at like what I painted the previous day, and I'm like, what was I thinking? Ugh, hate that. Poison Jackal says I was working on a gift painting, a little screenshot from Skyrim. I always thought my Skyrim screenshot painting would be more landscapey, but the first one is a cool perspective figurey one. Oh, nice. Yeah, very cool. Yeah, Skyrim makes sense. Landscape would totally work for that, but you know, sometimes it doesn't. Posted the whip in my Discord. Oh, nice. Let me take a look at it. Oh, very cool. Nice. Let's see if I can paste a link into my own chat. Um, I cannot. It is too long. uh, the link is too long for my own YouTube chat. That's funny. I can post it here, but it's too long for my own YouTube chat. That's funny. Yeah, the controls on the You didn't know that? Yeah, the controls on oh, you're asking oh there's a character limit? Yeah, on YouTube in YouTube chat there's a character limit, and then also um you know, I have it set up so that no one can post links, because you don't want people spamming certain things. But I set it up so that I am supposed to be able, first of all, I can share links, but it's supposed to be set up so that anyone can share links. I just have to approve it. But what's it called? Um, it doesn't work for some reason, and I don't know why. I'll just have to link to my Discord, and people can join to see that way. Yes, absolutely. If you want to see what we're talking about, join my Discord. There is a link in the description to my Discord. So join my Discord, and you can see Poison Jackal's work in progress painting. That's looking really cool. Before I forget, is this gouache or acrylic? Out of curiosity. It's very matte. I'm thinking gouache, just based off of like the look of it right now, but it's work in progress. Yeah. But Jackson says, I also have to say that that painting of a cat above, mine has left my jaw on the floor. It is stunning. Mine, oh, Poison Jackson says mine is acrylic. Okay, acrylic. Yours is acrylic. Yeah, the painting, that is, uh, that is June Alice, and she is a fantastic painter, just amazing, and she does a lot of pet portraits and stuff too. She does mostly oils, but she also does digital. Really, really good. So this painting is a little bit larger than what I've been doing lately, and the reason for that is this is for a painting competition that uh, the goal is to apply to this painting competition with this painting. We'll see if this painting turns out really well or not. I'll decide if I'm submitting it or not. But it's a 16 by 20, which is a lot larger than what I normally paint on, streams and everything. How are you finding the size difference? Well, I've painted this size before, so it's not like jarring or anything like that. In that sense, it's definitely more comfortable. Painting like a face this size. If I painted a face this size on a 9 by 12, like I've been painting, most of my paintings lately have been on 9 by 12. There would be almost nothing else but the face, It'd be very, very tight on the face, which isn't, horrible, but it also isn't very comfortable. It feels a little claustrophobic. And then, so because of that, I tend to make the faces smaller. And then when the faces are smaller, it's harder to paint them, because all the detail or all the little stuff where I want to go in and paint, it is now like super, super fine detail. And that just makes it harder. So in that sense, it's very comfortable. Um, this painting in particular, what's it called? The background in the photo reference is it's not very clear. There's a ton of stuff in the background, and what all that stuff isn't always clear. So that extra space is kind of a good thing and kind of a bad thing because I'm left I have to fill in all that extra space with a bunch of things that I don't know what I'm looking at. That part's a little difficult. And then of course there's the time issue, right? Like this takes longer. It's just part of it, right? It's larger, it's more paint, it takes longer to do. Um, and I have a bit of a tight deadline on it, so it is what it is. I wish I'd started earlier, but I was busy, so what can you do? I'm also a procrastinator and really bad at time management, so there's that too. Like most, like many content creators, I too have ADHD and struggle with all those related things. But yeah, I will say otherwise, 16 by 20 is a really comfortable size to work at. Like to me, for me, I think like 9 by 12, which is what I've been doing lately, is like a very comfortable or a very good small size canvas, right? Um, but it still is something that I would categorize as small. Um, you know, this is more along the lines of like just a very comfortable size to work at in general. This Poison Jackal says the Skyrim work in progress is 12 by 16. It's not far off. Well, in between. Yeah, no, 16 by 12 or 12 by 16 is also a really good size. My palette is, you can't see it, but all of it, but my palette is a 12 by 16 size. And that's also a very good size. I agree. I would say that like 12 by 16 is a very good size, very comfortable to work on. I could see I could easily see 20 by 16 being a little too large sometimes, depending on what you're doing. I mean, don't get me wrong, it can also be small, right? Like people I've done larger paintings and a lot of artists do very large paintings. So, obviously, but um having said that, I can still see it being too large for a lot of things. The other thing too is, this is very much a like traditional size, proportion wise. It's a what was it? 4 by 5, you know. So sometimes, sometimes that 4 by 5, what's it called, size isn't that helpful. Like sometimes larger or smaller would be better, but thank you, the ratio can throw it into a bad spot, depending. because sometimes it just leaves too much space in one area that you don't need, and it makes you work really hard to like fill, just you're basically just filling space. Um, you don't think it's very easy to frame that ratio? 4 by 5, I think it's pretty easy to frame because it's the same ratio as like an 8 by 10. I think it's fairly easy to frame. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's a standard size. That's why it's easy to frame. It might be good for composition variety though, easy for thirds and such. Yeah, it's a very good it's a good all-arounder. I would say there's a lot of times where it's very good. Um, you know, what is it? 3 by 4 and 4 by 5s are like ratio are the most common, and 1 by 1. But actually, I think even 1 by 1 is less common. Um, Heather says we're going to be doing a 16 by 20 and a 20 by 20 in my art class by the end of the semester. That's cool. That's really cool. Yeah, the largest oil painting I've done was a 30 by 40. I did not frame because that I'm pretty sure would have to be a custom frame and would be expensive. In NZ, our main sizing is a A4 or A3, which is a wacky ratio. Yeah, but if I'm not mistaken, A3 or A4, all of those, if I'm not mistaken, the cool thing about them is that they're always half of each other, right? So, um, that side of it is actually very convenient. Poison Jackal says yes. Yeah, yeah. So, um, I forget which one is which size, but it's like A4 is half the size of A3. Like if you fold an A3 in half, it's essentially an A4, and so on. Super convenient in that sense. But I don't know, but I don't remember the ratio uh, of it, like 4 by 3 or 3 by 4 or whatever. The ratio is 1 to 1.414. Oh, that's a convenient ratio. That's good. Yeah, that's an awkward size. Painting Jack says totally. Poison Jackal says totally. Ha ha ha. Yeah. No, it's an awkward ratio, but I don't know that the paper sizes in America are any better. Honestly, our paper sizes here are really weird. Like, um, letter paper, which is like the common, like printer paper that everyone uses, is 8.5 by 11, which I don't know what that ratio is. Also, like, why is it 8.5? Why not like 8 by 11? Why not 9 by 11? Why not like, okay, 8.5 by 11? And then legal is 14 by 8.5, I think. And then tabloid is 11 by 14, which is a horrible one. And then above that, it's like 11 by 17, which is possibly the worst one, because that doesn't, 11 by 17, the ratio of an 11 by 17 paper is 11 by 17. It doesn't divide into anything. It's like, I mean, I guess you can divide it into fractions, but it's very awkward. Very, very awkward. Poison Jackal says 1.294 by 1 is letter paper. Lamau. Yeah. It's like, I don't get it. I don't I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking. There's probably some weird historical reason for it, because all of this stuff, kind of developed over time, and like some things just happened a certain way. But yeah. I do, I do wish that America had transitioned over to the metric system. At one point, there was a bit of a push for that, but then they never did. Um, yeah, I don't know why, but it would have made life easier for everybody. Uh, I will say this: I did come across something online that I thought was pretty interesting, um, about like counting, that I thought was interesting. One second. Before I get into that, Heather says, my dad does 8 feet by 10 feet oil paintings, huge paintings. Yeah, that is huge. I would like to do larger paintings when I have the time. Yeah. Poison Jackal says, I'm surprised it made it as far as being pushed. Yeah, I know, right? Um, yeah. But yeah, I saw this really interesting thing which went over like how, I don't remember if it was like, this is why feet, why we like, why they count by 12. I think it's like why it started to count by 12s and so on, like why a dozen or whatever. And because it's like, if you have two hands, most people do, obviously, um, what you can do is, using your thumb, you can count the knuckles on each finger. So one hand is counting the knuckles on your fingers, and then the other hand is keeping track of how many, um, what's it called? How many hands you're counting. And so um, you can count really fast that way, and you don't actually have to do all the adding, because you can just move your finger, as like if you're looking at stuff and you're trying to count like a quantity, you just move your finger around your knuckles, to count it. And if something interrupts you, right, and you have your finger, let's say, on a particular knuckle, and you have two fingers up, so it's whatever. I don't remember what the math comes out to. You can stop and go back to counting, and as long as you hold on to this, you keep it. You keep track of everything. Um, so, this is like something that started before they had like easy writing implements. You know what I mean? Like it was like that type of thing that started way back. Um, and so you're like, some things like they have a history that really makes sense. But at some point, like, can we just move on from the history that makes sense and move on a little bit to things that are more modern? Just saying, maybe have a calculator now. Like, come on. Poison Jackal says that's quite old fashioned, right? Yeah. Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, yeah. It was a really cool. Like I said, I saw that online somewhere, and it's like that is really cool. It's cool information. It's cool, you know, to see how like how innovative people were, you know, under the circumstances. So yeah, absolutely. But also, I feel like we can move past that now. Just saying. This painting is so large, I actually get to use I have a little stool to sit on, and it helps me, lower myself a little bit for part of the painting because otherwise it's too like I have to bend over to paint part of it. But usually that is not the case. I mean, usually I don't have to do that at all. So yeah. I have a family member who does murals for public spaces, and he has to do like, large large paintings on all kinds of locations. Um, and sometimes like, he has to climb up places and do like scaffolding or whatever scaffold. I can't pronounce that right now, but you know what I'm saying. Like he has to build like stuff so that he can paint. And sometimes he has to like lay on the floor um, outside because like he's done what is it? He's painted what are those things called? The electrical boxes, that are outside, like stuff like that to like make the place look nicer. So, just has to lay on the floor, sometimes on gravel or dirt or whatever, and just paint. I don't know if I have the like physical stamina anymore to do like murals like that. I've been debating if it's something I want to attempt or not. Poison Jackal says going to lurk now and get ready for the gym. Catch you later. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. Enjoy your lurk and good luck with your gym. Yeah, Cassandra, welcome. How you doing? Doing all right? Good. Glad to hear it. Oh, Cassandra, I, you know what? I'll message you on Discord. I forgot. Part of me is like, oh, it's, I wanted to ask you something, or I will message you on Discord. Um, yeah, I forget sometimes. Like my brain isn't thinking about it, but yeah. Okay, lol. Yeah, sorry about that. I started my thought and I was like, I'm gonna, mention this to you. And then I was like, oh, yeah, no, I probably shouldn't do that on stream. I'll wait till after. So Tanner says, I've never forgotten anything in my life. Nope, not me. Yeah, of course not. No, I remember what it is this time. It's more I forgot that I was on stream and it's like, yeah, I mean, it's not a big deal. It's not like something super personal or anything, but it's just not something that needs to be on stream. You know, it's like planning something, that's all. For anyone who doesn't know, Cassandra and I are, well, neighbors might be a little might be a little much, but we're pretty close to it. So out of pure chance. So yeah, small world. Yeah, it is a small world. You know, I won't say more than that because, like, obviously, you never, it is the internet, but you know, people are, uh, yeah, whatever. It is what it is. But yeah, small world is just funny. Um, I I I had the experience of uh meeting someone who I served in the military with uh by happen chance in LA at a restaurant once. So it's like, damn, this really is small world. Like, if that can happen, yeah. Yeah, this was years later. It's just like, you know, 5 years or something afterwards, and just randomly bump into them. It's just like, oh, okay then. I don't get that very often though, because I live so far from where I grew up now. But yeah, it was funny that it did happen. I do remember like after high school when you know, um, I've had that experience where after high school, uh, I ran into some people from high school, and I was just like out and about type of thing. Um, you know, just that one didn't feel as like crazy, of course, though, because it's like, yeah, you live kind of near each other, went to high school and live near where I went to high school, stuff like that. Like it's not crazy. I still, for the most part, like just tried to pretend like I didn't see them because, you know, they weren't my friends, so it's like whatever. I can be a little antisocial. Okay. Okay, what can I say? Xander says, "Oh yeah, I've definitely seen people and gone the other way." Yeah, yeah, for sure. I'm sure everybody has. I will say this: I had the funny experience where I met someone um, who I'd gone to high school with afterwards, and at like a social event or something um, at night. This wasn't someone who I was friends with in high school. It was just someone I knew, and he was like, you're totally different. It's like in high school, you just seemed like very, very quiet and, kept to yourself and just, kind of like very different. And I was like, yeah, that's because I was always half asleep. Like I used to wake up 15 minutes before my first class. I was a walking zombie at school. So yeah, I'm sure I seemed very like tired and out of it, or not really there the whole time. So you know, yeah. Cassandra says, "Did you ever watch The Simpsons?" Yeah, I have. It's been a while since I watched The Simpsons, but yeah, I've seen The Simpsons. Cassandra says, "I was thinking of the time Bart got a job at the Gentleman Club." It's, I'll be honest, my memory is like vaguely, vaguely recalling that, but not very. And his grandpa walked in, put his hat on the wall, and immediately walked out. Oh, yeah, yeah. That sounds familiar. Yeah, when I was in high school, I lived so close to my high school. I could see it from my living room, and I could hear the bell ring. So I would wake up 10, 10 to 15 minutes before class was supposed to start. And when I heard the bell ring for the first class is when I would leave, or I knew that was like my last moment to leave. And I would get to class about the same time that the teachers would, or a little behind them, but not enough where they like locked me out of class or something. Yeah. And then I would sit in the back row and um, I didn't bring any books or notebooks for any of my classes except for math, computer, and physics. Um, and I would bring sketchbooks with me, and I would sit in the back row and draw the entire time while listening. And then I would copy notes from someone else. I had it all worked out. Yeah, sort of. Um, you know, I, I made it work, sort of, type of thing. Yeah. I mean, the reason I didn't take notes and do all that stuff, part of the reason was just because it wouldn't have been productive for me. Cassandra says I figured out the minimum I needed to do and not fail out, and then I did that and nothing more. Yeah, that was um, sort of, well, that's the thing. I was going to say that's sort of what I did, but that isn't exactly what I did in everything. Some classes, that's what I did. Other classes, um, I was in advanced physics, math, and computer science, and I ended up dropping the advanced physics at the last minute, just so that I wouldn't have to take the final exam, um, because I knew I wasn't going to get a good grade on it, because our teacher was brilliant, um, but he wasn't a brilliant teacher, is the problem. So he made it very difficult. Um, and everyone else, studied, had to study like extra hard to make up for his lack of teaching. And I did not have it in me to do that. I did, yeah, I did not have it in me to do that. So I dropped advanced physics at the last moment so that I wouldn't have to take that and get a bad grade and tank my average. in hindsight, none of that means anything today. So it's like, whatever. None of those points, you know, have had any influence on my life in the slightest. But that's only because I went a different route with things, and moved halfway across the world and everything. So and you never know, right? Like sometimes it's good to prepare and try things because you never know what's going to happen. But I will say, I do think, like, obviously, I think education's super important, but I think the way we do education is so messed up. I have a friend who, in the military, he, we were in the same position, and he was really smart and very, very capable. And he's now like, oh, what is it? Um, Trying to remember what he does for work. I can't remember exactly what he does for work because he moved jobs a few times. But he was working for Intel, um, and as like a not a not a not a computer scientist, but I think he did engineering or something. I can't remember exactly. Smart guy. He failed high school. He had to go back and get like a GED type of thing afterwards. Um, yeah. Yeah. So, I think our system clearly could use some improvements, but overall, I think it's very important, even if you end up not using everything that you learn, because you don't know what you're going to need and what you're not going to need. And you don't know how it's going to inspire you and what you're going to find interesting until you do it. And it also helps you think in different ways that are, unexpected sometimes. Cassandra says, yeah, the school system is messed up for sure. Oh, yeah. I will say this, I don't have any kids and I don't plan on having kids. And so I mean, like, I do think schools are important, but whenever the subject comes up, like, you know, in like local politics, and they're like, you know, vote for this or vote for that. And it's like, this will increase taxes, but it will, give such and such amount of money to the school and blah, blah. And it's all these things. And I'm like, I'm standing there and I'm like, I don't know enough about this. And so I usually just don't vote on those things because I'm just like, I don't know enough about this. I don't know if it's good. I don't know if it's bad. You know, I don't know. And generally, more money sounds good, but just because something sounds good doesn't mean it is. I just realized I'm going to have to figure out something with the microphone. I hate my choices right now. Oh, jeez. Cassandra says, "Don't think about it. That's a future you problem." Yeah, right. For sure. I mean, I already know how I'm going to do it. I'm going to fake it. I'm going to slightly indicate it and say good enough. Uh, Cassandra says that's right. Yeah, exactly. This painting's really interesting because, 1 second. So this painting's really interesting, or the process of painting. This painting is very interesting. Whether or not you think it's an interesting painting, it's a different subject. But the reason it's very interesting is because there are elements to it that are, very very common elements on like how I do any painting. But there's a bunch of elements in this painting that are they're just going to be like, I don't want to say they're going to be like one stroke because that might not be the case, but it's very much like I'm just going to put down some flat color in a spot and that's it. That's what it's going to be, right? I'm not going to have to go in and render and do all this stuff in a lot of things. So like right here, there's a little bit of red. You can kind of see this is the back of the microphone. That's just going to be like one flat color, and then that's going to be another flat color. And then, there's going to be a bunch of those all over, and there's all this stuff hanging in the foreground that I'm not even painting yet. And so I'm going to have to go in and paint all the details of that. But a lot of that is going to just be just a bunch of like flat, colors because it's stuff that's out of focus, so you can't really see it. So it's just a bunch of like marks that are going to be added in kind of at the end. So it's going to be this thing of like getting everything right to the spot where it's all ready, and then just, going in and putting in all those little things as like final touches. And usually that's not entirely how a lot of paintings come together. Usually like you build it up and you bring it close to a finish, and then you have a few little points where you're like, okay, I'm just going to put a little mark here, a little mark here, a little this, in certain points, and that's it, and it's done. This feels like it's like getting it all prepared and then just pushing it off the edge to finish it. So Sandra says you really picked something that was going to test you. I always do. It is remarkable how often I shoot myself in the foot in that way. It is every time. I do have a theory about that though. I do have a theory as to why that happens so often. It's one of two things, okay? At least in my theory, like it might be a third thing, but in my theory, this is what I think. Okay? It's one of two things. Either I'm dumb and I don't learn from my mistake and I just don't think about it and jump in feet first. Good chance it's that. Um, good chance that it's that. But my other theory um, is that it's I I am trying to do something. I always want to do something good, and um, like whatever my skill limit, whatever my I'm comfortable with it. Like that's good, but if I want to do something better, I need to go beyond that. And so I don't consider that. I just try and think like what can I do that would be better, that type of thing. Um, that's my theory. Let's see. Cassandra says, is the theory that you get bored if it's easy, lol? That's also a good theory. Okay, I have three theories. It's one of the three. Yeah, true. I do get bored. That is a good point. I do get bored. Cassandra says, "Ha, yeah, true, true, good point." That when I was working on my large painting, I did um, I took a class with Jennifer Balkin, and I did a 30 by 40 painting. It's on my website. I can't show it on stream uh, for numerous reasons, which whatever. Um, but you can see it on my website. It's a 30 by 40 painting of a woman uh, sitting by a mirror on the mirror is on the floor, and there's like a foresty kind of scene behind her. Um, there's a lot of detail in that you probably, if you've looked at it and you didn't look closely at it, you missed a bunch of detail because it's hard to see it, on screen kind of thing. Um, anyways, not that you have to go do that, but just pointing it out. But I got bored doing that one. Yeah, I really got bored after a while. Like it was a lot of fun. It was a great painting to work on. Um, Towards the end, I just wanted to be done with it. I was just like, I don't want to work on this painting anymore. I just want to do something else. I can't take it anymore. And it says, it's okay. The magic of urgency will see you through this painting. Yes, that is true. As bored as I will get on parts of this painting, you know, it needs to be done by Monday. So it'll be done by Monday. Heather says, I've been home from class for 4 hours and I just realized I have paint on my arm. Is it oil or acrylics? We have a friend here visiting. Because here's the thing: acrylics suck because they dry and they stay stuck to whatever it is. However, that is so much better than oils because if it's oils, they go everywhere. Hi, Dresden. Hi, Dresden. Say meow. Say meow. I don't know how to get acrylics off easily. I'm sure there is a way to do it easily. Um, but I don't know what the trick is. You can look it up. I'm sure there's something that you can use. Soap and water might work great, but if it's giving you a hard time, there might be something else. Like with oils, what's it called? With oil paints, uh, rubbing alcohol will dissolve them pretty easily. This, for anyone who doesn't know, this is Dresden, named after Harry Dresden, the wizard from the Dresden Files, the book series. He is the reason I wear gloves, so I can pick him up and not have oily hands and get oil paint all over him. Also, he likes to lick my hands for some reason and bite them. Ah, because he's such a vicious animal. Look at that beast just biting me. Look at that. He's so gentle. He's such a gentle cat. Oh. Okay. He does sometimes, his claws, there's nothing you can do. They're very sharp. Well, I can clip them, but they're very, very sharp. And sometimes he breaks the skin, but it's so minor. It's not, it's just a little scratch, nothing like very, very minor. But I can like play with his belly. He bites and grabs on with his claws and barely ever breaks skin, even with his super sharp claws. So, yeah, he's so gentle, such a gentle cat. Heather says soap and water is fine. I just can't believe I was all going about my day all painted up. LOL. A lot of painters do that. They just have, paint all over them all the time. I am not usually one of those, but some painters are like that. Heather says Zatanna is always really interested in my paintbrush, in my paintbrush rinse cup, whether it's acrylic or watercolor. Oh, that's not good for her. She shouldn't be drinking that. I'm not saying you let her. I'm just saying it's not good for her. No, I did not realize what time it was. Okay. Um, instead of looking at the time, instead of going back to painting, um, I'm probably going to call it a day a little early, just so I can go eat something, spend a little time with Michelle before the end of the night, and then I'll be back to painting. But yeah, good chance I will stream tomorrow because I really need to get this done. So there's a chance I'll be streaming tomorrow as well. I'll try and let you all know when I do. But yeah, other than that, Yeah, thanks everyone for hanging out with me. Sorry it was a short stream. What was I going to say? Yeah, follow me on, whatever. I think you're all following me anyways. But if you're not following me, follow me on, whatever platform you like, and join my Discord. Yeah. Yes. All right. Bye for now. Have a good night, everybody, and I'll catch you later.